The great hall of the Galactic Council was brighter than 1,000 suns. Floating seats filled the endless chamber, arranged in circles that stretched higher and higher into the air. Strange beings from every corner of the galaxy watched the center platform. Some had silver skin. Some had burning red eyes. Some were made of living crystal. All of them had come for one reason: to judge humanity. In the center of the hall, a blue hologram of Earth slowly turned in silence. Oceans shimmered. Clouds drifted gently. It looked peaceful. Small. Fragile. Then the laughter began. The Zorvath warlord leaned forward in his massive armored seat. His 4 glowing eyes narrowed with amusement. "This is the species that asked for equal standing," he growled. "They still fight each other on their own world." Another delegate, tall and thin like a shadow, added, "Their ships are slow. Their weapons are simple. Their history is short." The hall echoed with mocking sounds. Some species clicked their claws together. Others made low humming noises of insult. To them, humans were children playing among giants. The High Speaker of the Council raised one long arm, calling for silence. "Humanity," the speaker said calmly, "you have reached beyond your system. You have requested recognition as a protected civilization. Why should the galaxy respect you?" A small light appeared above the platform. It formed the image of a human ambassador. He stood straight, wearing a simple dark uniform. His face showed no fear. "Because we have earned our place," he said in a steady voice. "We seek cooperation. Trade. Peace." The Zorvath warlord burst into louder laughter. "Peace? You cannot even protect your outer colonies. We have scanned your borders. Your defenses are weak." Murmurs of agreement filled the chamber. The human ambassador did not argue. He did not shout. He simply looked around the endless hall. "We do not wish for conflict," he said quietly. "But if you test us, you may not like what you find." For a moment, there was silence. Then the laughter returned, louder than before. The council voted within seconds. A limited military evaluation would be conducted. The Zorvath fleet would enter one human outer colony. It would measure resistance. If humanity failed, they would lose territorial rights and protection status. To the council, it was fair. To humanity, it was a threat. The human ambassador gave one final message before his image faded. "You mistake our calm for weakness." The chamber lights dimmed as the meeting ended. Delegates began to leave, still amused. The decision was simple. The outcome was obvious. Far away, near the edge of known space, the Zorvath fleet prepared for launch. Thousands of warships powered their plasma cores. Commanders smiled with confidence. This would be easy. A display of strength. A reminder of order. On Earth, deep beneath the surface of the ocean, hidden machines powered on for the first time in decades. Ancient reactors hummed softly. Massive doors began to unlock. No public announcement was made. No panic spread. Cities continued their daily life. Children played. People worked. The sky remained peaceful. But in a classified command center buried under solid rock, human leaders watched silent screens. One officer spoke softly. "The council has made its move." An older admiral nodded. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "Then it is time." Across the solar system, signals traveled through hidden channels. Signals no alien species had ever detected. Signals that reached far beyond mapped space. In the darkness between stars, something answered. A faint glow appeared where nothing should exist. Something massive began to wake. Back in the Galactic Council, reports started to come in from deep scanners. Unidentified energy readings. Unknown origin. Moving fast. The laughter slowly faded from the great hall. For the first time that day, uncertainty replaced amusement. Humanity had been mocked. But the galaxy had no idea what it had just awakened. The Zorvath fleet entered human space with full confidence. Thousands of warships moved in perfect formation. Their engines burned like small stars, leaving trails of red light across the darkness. At the front of the fleet, the warlord's flagship cut through space like a blade. Their target was simple. Outpost K-47. A small human colony on the edge of mapped territory. Scans show light defense platforms, one Zorvath commander reported. No heavy warships detected. The warlord smiled. As expected. The fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel and surrounded the colony. Then something strange happened. There were no defense ships. No emergency signals. No panic broadcasts. The colony floated in silence. The human-built station orbited a gray planet below. Its lights were dim. Its ports were open. No movement could be seen through its wide windows. Open communication, the warlord ordered. Silence answered. Boarding teams, he commanded. Several Zorvath ships moved forward and locked onto the station. Armored soldiers crossed through metal corridors, weapons ready. Inside, they found no resistance. No civilians. No guards. No bodies. The colony was empty. Tables were clean. Screens were dark. Personal rooms were untouched, as if people had calmly walked away minutes before the fleet arrived. "This makes no sense," one Zorvath officer whispered. Then they found it. At the center of the station's command room stood a single black pillar of metal. Smooth. Cold. Covered in strange human symbols. It was not powered by normal energy. It gave off no heat. No signal. It simply stood there. The warlord appeared on screen inside the station. "Scan it," he ordered. The Zorvath engineers moved closer. One extended a scanning device toward the pillar. The moment the scan touched its surface, the pillar activated. A deep vibration shook the entire station. Red light burst from thin lines across its surface. Symbols began to glow. "Energy spike," shouted a Zorvath technician. "Unknown frequency." Across human space, hidden receivers turned on at the exact same second. On distant moons. Under oceans. Inside hollowed asteroids. The signal traveled faster than anything the Zorvath had ever recorded. The boarding soldiers tried to disconnect the pillar. Too late. The station doors sealed shut. The Zorvath fleet outside detected a powerful wave expanding outward from the colony. Not a weapon. Not an explosion. A call. Deep inside the flagship, alarms began to flash. "Unidentified object detected at the edge of the system," an officer reported. The warlord frowned. "Show me." A new image appeared on the main screen. At first, it looked like a shadow in space. A distortion. Like darkness bending around itself. Then stars behind it began to vanish. The object was massive. Larger than any Zorvath dreadnought. Larger than the colony station. It did not approach with speed. It did not rush forward. It simply appeared closer with each second, as if space itself was folding to bring it here. "No engine trails detected," the officer whispered. "No heat signature." The warlord felt something unfamiliar. Unease. "Power weapons," he ordered. "Prepare full barrage." The Zorvath fleet charged their cannons. Plasma cores glowed brighter. Targeting systems locked onto the approaching shadow. Inside the silent human colony, the black pillar continued to pulse. Its message had already been received. Far beyond this system. In a place not marked on any star map. Something ancient and human had been waiting. Back in the system, the shadow grew clearer. It was not a fleet. It was a single ship. Its surface was dark metal, smooth and endless. No visible guns. No visible windows. Its shape was simple but overwhelming, like a wall of night. The Zorvath commander swallowed. This was not in their records. The warlord straightened in his seat, forcing confidence into his voice. Fire. Thousands of plasma beams shot across space. They struck the black ship directly. The light from the explosion blinded nearby sensors. For a moment, it looked like victory. Then the light faded. The ship was still there. Untouched. And it had not fired back. Yet. The light of the plasma barrage slowly faded. Where thousands of Zorvath weapons had struck, there should have been wreckage. There should have been fire. There should have been debris drifting in space. Instead, the black warship remained completely still. Not a single mark covered its surface. The Zorvath fleet hesitated. Recharge and fire again, the warlord shouted, anger hiding the fear in his voice. Before the fleet could obey, space itself began to change. Around the human warship, the stars started to bend. Light curved unnaturally, twisting as if pulled by invisible hands. Sensors across the Zorvath fleet screamed with error messages. Gravity spike detected. Spatial distortion increasing. Energy levels off the scale. The warship had not fired a visible weapon. It had not launched missiles. It had simply activated something. A deep vibration spread across the battlefield. It was not sound, but every Zorvath aboard their ships felt it inside their bones. Then the first Zorvath destroyer disappeared. There was no explosion. No fire. 1 second it was there. The next second it was gone. Erased. Panic rushed through the fleet. Retreat formation, a commander yelled. Another destroyer folded inward. Its metal hull bent like soft paper, crushing into a single bright point before vanishing into nothing. The black warship did not chase them. It did not move with speed. It simply shifted position, and suddenly appeared closer to the center of the fleet. How is it doing that? One officer whispered. No propulsion detected, another replied. It is not traveling through space, it is moving space itself. Inside the Zorvath flagship, silence filled the bridge. The warlord stared at the screen. This was not possible. No species had ever demonstrated this level of control over reality. Open communication, he ordered, his voice lower now. At first, nothing happened. Then every screen across every Zorvath vessel flickered at the same time. A human face appeared. Calm. Focused. Unafraid. The human admiral wore a simple dark uniform. Behind him, the bridge of the massive warship glowed softly with quiet blue light. You were warned, the admiral said. The warlord growled. You hide behind tricks. The admiral's expression did not change. This is not a trick. This is restraint. Another Zorvath cruiser vanished behind him. You entered our space without permission, the admiral continued. You attempted to measure our weakness. You are one ship, the warlord shouted. We are thousands. The human admiral looked almost disappointed. You still misunderstand. As he spoke, the black warship expanded a field around itself. The stars dimmed within that field. Time itself seemed slower. Every Zorvath weapon system shut down at once. Not destroyed. Disabled. Their power cores cooled instantly. Engines went silent. The entire fleet drifted helplessly in space. How? A Zorvath engineer gasped. We studied you, the admiral said calmly. Every species. Every weapon. Every mistake. The warlord's claws tightened on his command throne. You could destroy us. Yes, the admiral replied. There was no pride in his voice. No anger. Just truth. But we will not. Behind him, the view screen shifted, showing more signals arriving at the edge of the system. More human warships. Not dozens. Not hundreds. Thousands. Each one emerging silently from folds in space. The Zorvath officers stared in horror. Humanity had not sent one final defense. They had sent a warning. The Admiral spoke one last time. Leave our territory. Return to your council. Tell them what you have seen. The field around the Zorvath fleet slowly lifted. Power returned to their systems. No ships were destroyed now. No further attacks came. The black warship simply hovered in silence, surrounded by distant human vessels that watched without moving. The warlord felt something he had not felt in centuries. Defeat. He gave the order. Full retreat. One by one, the Zorvath fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel, escaping the system as quickly as possible. The human warship did not follow. It remained there, silent and unmoving. Guarding. Across the galaxy, long-range observers recorded everything. The news reached the Galactic Council within hours. The species they had mocked had just stopped one of the strongest military powers in known space. With a single ship. And they had not even fought seriously. In the darkness of space, the black warship slowly turned. Its mission was not revenge. It was protection. And the galaxy was finally beginning to understand. Humanity had never been weak. Humanity had simply been waiting. The Galactic Council chamber was no longer filled with laughter. It was filled with silence. Delegates stared at the live recordings from Zorvath space. The images repeated again and again, the black human warship bending space, disabling an entire fleet without effort. The high speaker's voice was no longer calm. How was this possible? No one answered. The Zorvath warlord appeared through a hologram. His once proud armor was scorched, not from battle, but from emergency power surges. His eyes no longer burned with arrogance. They possess technology beyond ours, he said slowly. They could have destroyed us. They chose not to. Murmurs spread across the chamber. One older delegate, a being with pale transparent skin, stood up. Search the archives, it said. Search everything related to early human contact. The Council AI began scanning forgotten records, reports from explorers, traders, and spies who had visited Earth centuries ago. One file was flagged. Old. Ignored. Dismissed. The chamber lights dimmed as the recording played. An alien explorer appeared on screen, speaking in a weak voice. Humans are divided, yes. They argue, yes. But when faced with extinction, they unite faster than any species I have studied. They adapt. They learn from every defeat. If the galaxy ever pushes them too far, they will not respond with rage. They will respond with preparation. The recording ended. The council members shifted uneasily. They were preparing this whole time, one delegate whispered. Another replied, while we expanded our empires openly, they built quietly. Data analysts began connecting scattered events from the past 200 years. Human scientists requesting access to alien knowledge exchanges. Human engineers volunteering in joint research programs. Human diplomats insisting on peaceful cooperation. They were not begging for power. They were studying it. Meanwhile, in deep human territory, inside the black warship, the admiral stood alone on the observation deck. Stars stretched endlessly before him. A young officer approached. The council is requesting direct communication, she said. The admiral nodded. Put them through. The entire Galactic Council appeared across the bridge screens. For the first time, their expressions held caution. The high speaker spoke carefully. Humanity has demonstrated strength beyond our expectations. The admiral replied calmly, we never wished to demonstrate it. You hid this fleet, another delegate accused. We built it, the admiral corrected. Because history taught us something. The chamber waited. When humanity was weak, the admiral continued, we suffered. We fought wars among ourselves. We almost destroyed our own world. We learned what unchecked power can do. Images appeared behind him, old Earth wars, ruined cities, broken skies. We decided that if we ever reached the stars, we would never again stand helpless. The High Speaker asked quietly, is this a threat? The Admiral's eyes were steady. It is a promise. Silence followed. Back on Earth, citizens watched news feeds. Many had not even known about the hidden fleet. Governments had kept the project secret for generations, passed down quietly between leaders. It had a simple name. Project Aegis. Its purpose was not conquest. It was survival. The human warships now positioned themselves along the borders of their territory, not advancing, not invading. Just watching. Back in the council chamber, fear slowly changed into something else. Respect. The Zorvath warlord lowered his head slightly. We misjudged you. The admiral responded without pride. Yes. No anger. No victory speech. Just truth. The High Speaker finally spoke the words no one in the galaxy expected to say that day. The Galactic Council formally recognizes humanity as a Tier 1 civilization. The title had only ever been given to the oldest and most powerful empires. And now, the youngest species in the chamber held it. The communication ended. Inside the black warship, the young officer looked at the admiral. Was this the outcome you wanted? He looked at the stars again. No, he said softly. I wanted them to never test us. Far beyond the system, deep in unexplored space, more human vessels waited in silence. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Humanity did not shout about its strength. It did not display its weapons for fear or pride. It simply endured. It prepared. And when pushed, it revealed only enough power to end the threat. Nothing more. Nothing less. The galaxy did not return to normal. It became quieter. Trade routes continued. Planets still rotated. Civilizations still argued and competed. But something had changed in the space between the stars. Human territory was now marked clearly on every official star map. And no one crossed it. The Zorvath Empire pulled its fleets back to defensive positions. Publicly, they called it strategic restructuring. Privately, they called it survival. The Galactic Council passed new laws about military expansion. No species could send armed fleets into another space without full agreement. Many knew the real reason for this sudden peace. A single black warship. Above Earth, the sky looked peaceful as always. Civilian ships moved in and out of orbit. Satellites glowed softly in sunlight. From the surface, nothing looked different. But hidden far beyond the moon, inside a region of space masked by advanced distortion fields, the human warship waited. It floated without movement. Silent. Watching. Inside its command bridge, the admiral stood before a wide display screen. Reports scrolled past. Zorvath fleet activity, reduced. Council debates, ongoing. Border stability, maintained. A junior officer turned to him. Do you think they will test us again? The admiral took a slow breath. Yes. The officer looked surprised. They will not attack, he continued. But one day, someone will grow curious. Or afraid. Fear makes civilizations dangerous. He turned toward the observation window. Earth was a distant blue light from here. We must never give them a reason to fear us, he said quietly. On the surface of Earth, life continued as usual. Most humans would never know how close they had come to war. They would never see the massive ship hidden in the void. They would never hear the moment when space bent like paper around it. That was by design. Project Aegis had always been secret. Not because humanity was ashamed of its strength, but because power shown too often becomes temptation. Days later, the Galactic Council sent an official delegation to Earth. Not soldiers. Not warships. Diplomats. For the first time, they landed openly in a human city. Crowds watched carefully as alien representatives stepped onto Earth soil. There was no cheering. No anger. Only quiet observation. Inside a large meeting chamber in Geneva, human leaders sat across from alien delegates. The High Speaker spoke first. "We came to understand." A human representative nodded. "Then ask." The speaker hesitated before speaking again. "Why did you not destroy the Zorvath fleet?" The room was silent. The human leader answered calmly, "Because destruction is easy." The alien delegates listened carefully. "Control is harder," the human continued. "We built that ship to end wars before they begin. Not to start them." One delegate leaned forward. "And if the galaxy one day unites against you?" The human leader met its gaze without fear. "Then we will defend ourselves." Simple. Clear. No threats. No boasting. Just certainty. Back in deep space, the black warship slowly powered down its highest systems. Not fully asleep. Never fully asleep. It remained alert. Because history had taught humanity one unbreakable truth. Peace does not survive on hope alone. It survives on balance. Weeks passed. Months passed. Trade increased between species. Joint research projects began. Even the Zorvath Empire sent cautious envoys for technology exchange. The mocking voices from the council chamber were gone. Replaced by careful words. Measured respect. And sometimes, quiet admiration. Far beyond known space, in darkness untouched by starlight, hidden human stations continued construction. Not building fleets for conquest. Building shields. Building warning systems. Building protection. Humanity did not trust the galaxy completely. But they no longer feared it either. And somewhere in the silent void, drifting beyond sight, the warship that had changed everything remained still. A shadow among shadows. A reminder. Humanity had been mocked once. It would not happen again. Because when the galaxy laughed, humanity did not answer with noise. It answered with silence. And in that silence, it became untouchable.